Alright, here's what we're up to today. It's June. It's the middle of June. It's the middle of June in Maine. It's 57 degrees. Not exactly hot. Not exactly the dead of summer. This is my pellet stove. It's a good one. Kozi pellet stove. I used it 3 years without any problem whatsoever. And a while back the auger jammed on it and I cleaned it out. And then it jammed again. And last time I cleaned it out, it didn't work right after I put it back together, and then it coughed up a bearing. This bearing actually came down through the pellet tube. The way this thing works, there's an auger that turns. This is a pellet, I don't know, pot, tank, whatever. Put the pellets in here, the auger turns, it takes the stuff up the tube and then dumps it down the tube, which puts it into the fire. I'm thinking what happened is that this bearing must have been on the other end of that auger shaft. And when I pulled the auger shaft out to break it loose, this bearing popped out, and then when I cranked it back up, the auger just pushed it right up the tube and right down into the fire pot. So I'm going to pull all this apart again and pull that auger shaft out in order to put this back on the other end of it. I don't know if, I'm sure it's possible if I wanted to take this thing completely apart I could, but it seems kind of counterproductive. If I can get that back on the shaft and get that to fit back up in there where it goes, maybe taking it completely apart won't be necessary, so I'll mess with that a bit. My boy's coming to visit next week, and if it's as cold as it is now, he ain't going to be real comfortable in here without a little bit more heat. Of course, me and Zachy, we don't mind it because we're used to it, but I'm going to get this fixed just in case he's up here and we need to keep a little fire going in the background just to keep things kind of comfy. Right, Zach? You good with me on that? Okay, then. Okay, now I've got the motor off, which was kind of a challenge. The end of this shaft fits over the end of that shaft, and there's a little bearing here that let me just pop it out. Anyway, this bearing fits over the end of that shaft, and the shaft rides in this little collar. Probably something similar up on the top of this thing. Yeah. Okay, that's what we got, and this right here, I'm sure, is going to fit right onto that. That's the way that's supposed to work, and I can't see up in that shaft, but if I could, I'm pretty darn sure that this fits up in another collar up in the top of this thing. In fact, I bet I could slip it right back in there just about and put it right back in place. Put this baby back together and she'll be good to go. I'm going to shut the camera off while I mess around with that a little bit. I'd kind of like to have a look up in there. Let's see. Alrighty then, I got her all back together now. I'm going to slide it around and plug it in, give it a try, and see how she goes. Okay, it's working. Look at that. Whee! I like it. I guess I'll throw some pellets in there and we'll have a little more heat in the house. That'll be a beautiful thing. Right, Zachy?